Before we go across to him, let's address the first story of the day, and that comes in on Anant Raj. Let's pull that counter up for you. On lower circuit, in fact, down almost 20-odd%, even as the company actually goes ahead to clarify its side of the story after one of its deals comes under the CBI scanner in connection with the ongoing investigation into the 2G spectrum scam. The stock has taken a beating yesterday as well and today also, just about propping up from those lower levels, almost 12.5% shaved off right now. Darshan Mehta joins us with more on that. Darshan, firstly, the company's clarification has somewhat been a disappointment. It's not been taken too well by the markets either. See what happened yesterday with the indication given by the management has not brought any cheer to the stock price, at least for the time being. Thanks a lot for that, Darshan, bringing us those details. So Anant Raj clarifying that the joint venture was purely on the real estate front and nothing to do with telecom. Dr. Narayan, Anant Raj, after a hammering in yesterday's session as well as today's session, you expect some bit of a, just a temporary technical correction to come back in and some bit of trader activity to kickstart in Anant Raj?
Seems very unlikely, Devina, because, it's not just yesterday or day before or today that the stock is taking a knock. It's been taking a knock for the last at least, let's say about 8 to 10 weeks. It's been coming down non-stop from about 150 odd levels and is trading now down to half of that, about 78 or so more. So I think the stock has been sort of taking it right on the chin for quite a while, and I don't see any reason that traders should really find it attractive all of a sudden at this level. It's clearly into a firm intermediate downtrend and looks to stay that way. So I think every rise, if you do get one, should be looked upon as a chance to exit rather than to play this from the long side. I think no matter how many denials actually take place, I think there's too much going around right now with respect to 2G, that people will not really believe what is being said until it's been repeated many times over. So I think one should rather leave it alone, not really play it as a value item at low levels also.
All right, not to stay close to that counter, stocks down about 12% as we speak at 82.5. Away from that, and on to some specific news in the banking space, then the government is planning to infuse capital into public sector banks. One of them is Bank of Maharashtra, and the investors seem to be very happy about it. The stock is upbeat on the back of that news by about 10% since morning today. Ritu Jindal joins us with more, and she's also spoken to the management about the same. Ritu, why is the street firstly so excited despite the proposed dilution of equity that probably the bank will have to see?
Well, essentially, Devina, apart from some of the other mid-cap PSU banks, also like a Dana, Vijaya and Corporation Bank, in which government has decided to infuse preference capital, Bank of Maharashtra as a stock is rejoicing because the management does not want to dilute its equity. In fact, going forward, the Government of India shareholding will rise up to 81% versus the 77% currently after the infusion of 352 crores worth of preferential share capital. The capital adequacy for the company, management says, will rise to 14.5% post the infusion. They will not dilute any equity by way of any FPO, at least till FY12, when they are fairly covered with that. For FY11, they are looking at a credit growth target of 18%, and for FY12, they're still quite moderate at 20 to 22% kind of credit growth is what they are targeting. So this is essentially a positive news. If you compare this to other PSU banks, mid-cap PSU banks, which have had the same news, they have not done very well in today's trade, because we spoke to the management of Corporation Bank also, and they may look at an FPO next year.
All right, Ritu, thanks for that information on Bank of Maharashtra and the government's infusion of capital. But we'll come back to you in just a bit on to take a view from you on the NBFCs after the RBI actually stated yesterday they're going to cap that capital ratio to about 15-odd%. Dr. Narayan, first view on Bank of Maharashtra.
It's been like any other banking stock, having participated in the recent decline among all the banking stock. It's pulled back nicely into the 50% retracement of the whole rise from let's say March 09 till about October, November of last year. So I think 50% level at about 52 or so is a decent level for one to expect some amount of supports to emerge. And maybe news like what we just heard could be actually in line with what is being expected. So I think with a stop around 50 or slightly below it, one could actually venture in with a buy for the stock. 59.60 is the immediate kind of goal for a short-term trader, but for a slightly longer-term player, could also look at somewhere around 64 to 65. So that would be a decent, maybe 15% sort of return from the share in the short to medium term.
All right, from a short to medium term, buy with the target price of 64 to 65 rupees on a Bank of Maharashtra. Any which ways the stock today has pretty much almost nearing those levels. 61.5 is where it's currently trading at. Back to Ritu then, and on the news that had come out yesterday about the RBI increasing the capital adequacy ratio for NBFCs to about 15% in the listed space. However, it will apply to companies like Mahindra Finance, Shriram Transport Finance, Sundaram Finance amongst the others. Ritu, give us more details on the same, and will NBFCs then require more capital in order to meet this adequacy ratio?
Well, Devina, as of now, most of these NBFCs are fairly adequately capitalized. Remember, these norms do not apply to the housing finance companies. They are governed by NHB. At the moment, the current capital adequacy for the likes that you mentioned, Eminent Financial Services, very healthy at 17.4%. They've just a couple of days back done a QIP issue of 470 crores, so that's quite healthy for them. Shriram Transport Finance, once again, 23.62%. Bajaj Auto Finance is at 28%. Manappuram General Finance, Shriram City Union Finance, Future Capital and IFCI. These are some of the other NBFCs which get impacted largely by this particular norm. We spoke to a lot of the analysts. They believe that, this high capital ultimately, versus the 12%, now they'll have to set aside 15%, which means it will reduce their capacity to leverage as such. And near-term return ratios would definitely get impacted because ultimately capital is a cost on the business going forward. But in the long run, it's a very healthy measure. Shriram City Union Finance, we spoke to the management. They will come out and raise equity in the next 12 to 15 months. They have also requested the RBI for joining us and highlighting all those various key points of the rule that was laid out yesterday by the RBI. Dr. Narayan, some of these NBFCs, Mahindra Financials, for that matter, a Bajaj Finance, you've got a Future Capital, a Shriram, a Transport Finance is the other one that could probably get impacted by the same. What's your take on some of these counters?
In line with the market, I think these have also been into a kind of reaction. The first leg of the decline is, is visible across most of the charts, M&M Finance, Bajaj Finance, Shriram Transport Finance, all of them. If you take Future Capital as a name, that's been sort of staying down for a long time, trying to build a base. So if I have to look at any of the stocks from, let's say, the NBFC space, I would look at stocks which have not had this kind of glorious runs like M&M Finance, which has had a superb trend run and could be certainly looked upon as being something overbought. But if I want to look at something which is a little safer in terms of lower price and lower risk, I would look at something like IFCI, which is a very highly trader patronized share and which is also in the futures list. I think IFCI is somewhere close to 50 levels, 49.50 I think would be a decent bet to go long on. There are lots of things on the anvil for IFCI too in the future, so I think that's one thing to look at. Future Capital is something which is building a base, so it is, let's say, support base around 130, 135 levels. It's trading not too far away from it at about 150 or somewhere around those levels. So I think these are the ones which are not too far away from the base, and since we are looking at this particular sector from a longer term perspective, I think it's much better to look at stocks which are nearer the base so that your risk level is actually controlled. So rather than look at something which have really run up and where the risk may be a little larger because they may, the trend may remain intact, but then the price erosion could be large. So you're really running a risk if you are a small investor.
Sure. Alright, so Dr. Narayan, they're pointing out two stocks, the Future Capital forming a base there and even an IFCI for that matter at a level of 49 or 50 odd rupees. That could be a good buy for a shorter period of time at least for now. Those are the two stocks pointed out. We need to slip into a short break right now, but on the other side, we just heard a whole lot about how Bank of America has downgraded the Sensex EPS, what's happening with Reliance Industries, and which brokerage has downgraded that counter. All of that and more. We will be joined by our joint investor. Stay tuned.